Howdy there, everybody. Welcome to an episode of Chronicles of a Cheesehead at the Wisconsinite Podcast here in my studio. I guess you can call it kind of a podcast studio. Um, Brought to you by Beardsconsin. Go to beardsconsin.com. Use the code WISCO10 for 10% off your entire purchase. Um, They got hats, beanies, hoodies, t-shirts, beard balm, beard oil. They have, you know, everything that you need. I'm trying to grow my my beard back, but I use Beard Wisconsin beard oil and beard balm. They're awesome. They've been with me since day one, pretty much. So I'd like to thank them a lot. Um, Also, thank you to Raising the Bar Sports Pub here in Clear Lake, Wisconsin. Local sponsor. You know, they got Wingo Bar Bingo on Thursday nights. They have a new special on Wednesdays. I believe it's Wednesday. Um, they got the Buffalo Chicken Sandwich on Wednesdays. I know that there's a Beer Olympics coming up with um, the Midway and Raising the Bar and a couple other bars. I can't exactly remember um, what bars are associated with that, but thank you, Raising the Bar, and thank you to the Midway, another local sponsor. Another watering hole here in Clear Lake. Um, Chase has done a lot with the Midway. He's revamped it a lot, and it's awesome. If you're in the Clear Lake area, if you're in Polk County or St. Croix County or whatever, head on out to the Midway Bar for a beer. Um, might be heading there later. Don't know. I got plenty of Busch Light. So thank you, Chase, for sponsoring the podcast. But yeah, just wanted to come on and talk a little bit about the game tomorrow. So obviously, it's a big game. Um, you know, same position as last year, except instead of it's another divisional game at the end of the year to decide whether or not we go into the playoffs or not. It's another win and in. Um, last year at this time, I didn't have the same amount of, I don't know if you could say, faith in this team winning the final game, but with the way that Love has been playing the last half of the season, I think he should be in consideration for MVP in all honesty. But you know, he'll show him next year. But the defense is really going to have to step up tomorrow. Um, you know, it's they're going to have to play a lot better than the last game last year. You know, hopefully they play a lot more man coverage. They seem to be a lot better in man than zone. They play one of the softest zone coverages in the NFL. They're ranked in the bottom half, I believe, in zone coverage in the NFL. Um, you could say that it's better in our favor that we're in Green Bay, but you all remember last year. But the good thing is, under Matt LaFleur, We are 9-0 against the Bears. Have not lost against them. So, and I you know, I can't remember how many games. Jordan Love has thrown 17 touchdown passes to 1 interception. It's mind-boggling to me that I know I'm biased. I've believed in Love this whole time. There's not a lot of people out there that will admit that, but I have backed Love since we drafted him. Didn't make a whole lot of sense to me when we drafted him, but I believe that he has been the quarterback of the future since Green Bay drafted him. I believe he's the quarterback of the future. I believe he's the next franchise quarterback. He's certainly playing that way, and he's gonna have to really play his A game tomorrow. Which against Chicago, it's not that hard, honestly. And it's a divisional game. There's not a whole lot else to say. It'd be a whole lot different if we were playing Cincinnati or San Francisco, which thankfully we do not play San Francisco because I don't think we'd have a chance. But if right now we're playing the Dallas Cowboys in the wild card round. Hey, Wisconsin, what's going on, guys? Which I have a buddy at work that I work with. He's a Cowboys fan, and we're both pretty excited. There's going to be some bets on the line if Green Bay plays Dallas. So Stedman, if you're watching, you better put up or shut up. But I have full confidence that we're going to win this game. Which I have the Vikings Packer Viking game highlights on behind me. But like I said, they need to play more man coverage on defense. I think that plays to their full strength and potential. Their zone, for some reason it just doesn't seem like they know what they're doing in zone. Especially if you got a guy on a slant, running across the linebackers. Yeah, I wish I could go with you guys to Lambeau and tailgate. It's a little bit of a drive for me, and I got to work on Monday. But yeah, we got to shut them darn fibs up. But what was I talking about? It against just a simple slant route going across the middle. It's insane. They don't know who to pick up who. If you get DJ Moore running across the middle in his own coverage, it's not going to be good. But there's been a lot of, just like last week with the Vikings on K-Fan. I live near the cities, so I get the Minnesota sports station, and they talked a lot of crap. They talked a lot of crap about how they're going to put us in our place, basically. And boy, were they wrong. I fully believe it's going to be another week just like that. And Justin Fields can talk all he wants about, there's nothing else to do in Green Bay other than, watch football. They're going to be loud because all they do is watch football. There's a lot more to do in Green Bay. But that's besides the point. He's talking trash because he can't step up his game against the Green Bay Packers. He hasn't won against us. He never will. And this is another one of those games where it's put up or shut up for him. in the Bears organization. If he has a bad game, it's going to reflect bad on him. It's going to reflect bad on Eberflus, which I don't really get why they're bringing him back. If they were smart, they would push for Harbaugh. But again, I don't see Jim Harbaugh being a threat to us either as a head coach. Um, it's just unbelievable. You know, we've won the last 9 games against Chicago. 9 games. That's a lot of games. That's 2 games a year. I don't know. It's a lot. I know that. We haven't lost to Chicago since Matt LaFleur became head coach. And it's going to stay that way. They don't know how to stop us. They don't know how to stop Aaron Jones. They're definitely not going to know how to stop Jordan Love. So, I mean, Minnesota had no answer to Jordan Love. I mean, you guys saw the throws. You guys saw how calm he was in the pocket, how he could improvise. I said this on Wednesday, but I hate to compare the two because it's still pretty raw with Aaron Rodgers in my mind. Um, Jordan Love was a lot like Aaron Rodgers last Sunday. Um, I don't know. The one thing that really annoys me is when they compare Aaron and Jordan. Oh, Jordan Love threw without his feet on the ground. Cool. Nobody cares. He's going to get compared to Aaron Rodgers his whole career. Sadly. It might not be sad in his mind, but I wouldn't want to be compared to him. I mean, with what he's been doing in New York and what he's in the headlines for, I wouldn't want to be compared to him. It's just like when Brett Favre went to New York. But football wise, I would want to be compared to Aaron Rodgers. You know, he gave us a good 18 years in Green Bay, and you know, I don't think that um, Aaron is going to win a Super Bowl in New York. I really don't. Um, I'm getting a little sidetracked here. I don't really get to speak by myself a lot because you know there's 3 of us on Wednesday nights, but yeah, we're gonna have to get together and drink some beers, guys. Um, but I I think it's gonna be a lot like that game on Sunday against Minnesota. I fully believe we're gonna run all over them. Musgrave was just activated. Pretty sure it was either today or yesterday he was activated, which is good for him. I'm glad that he's healing well. Um, but Tucker Kraft. If Tucker Kraft keeps playing the way that he is, if Musgrave can get healthy and play like at the level that he was playing at the beginning of the year, and Kraft plays at the level he's at right now, going into the playoffs and next year, they're not going to be able to stop our tight ends. On top of they're not going to be able to stop our wide receivers. You know, once we get Christian Watson back, I fully believe that he'll be playing in the playoffs. You know, after we beat the Bears, I'm sure it'll be announced next week sometime. But I, you know, it's they're not gonna be able to stop us. Jokingly, I told my coworker Get ready for the white hot Packers. If and when we beat Chicago, watch out. I'm going to say it now. Watch out for the Green Bay Packers. Kind of like the Lions. They're going to play pissed off because everybody talks crap about them. How they're the youngest team in the league. And, Jordan Love can't play football. Oh, he can play football. He showed everybody that. But, like I've said all season long, you need to let him sit. Not, not sit, but you need to let him learn. I get it. It's his first year starting, but he needs to get acclimated to the offense, which he should be. But just you got to be patient, and look what happened. He is third in the NFL in total touchdowns in the league. At the beginning of the year, from what everybody was saying, he's not going to do anything. And look what he's doing now. He doesn't have a number one wide receiver. He hasn't had a number one tight end. The whole offensive line has been a carousel the whole season. And look where we're at. We're one game away from making the playoffs in his first year. Rodgers can't say that. We didn't make it to the playoffs. We were 6-10, I believe. So, what does that say for Jordan Love? It says that he is the next quarterback. He's the quarterback of the future. And when we reach the playoffs, this upcoming offseason, Love is going to get paid. He's got 1 year left on this deal. He signed a 1 year extension. He's getting paid around $23 million a year, I believe. He'll be getting paid over 30 after this year. I almost guarantee it. Again, I'm not a numbers guy. I'm not a contract guy. I don't know how much to pay anybody in the NFL. Honestly, they're all overpaid. But Jordan Love is going to get a payday. He's going to get paid, whether everybody likes it or not. It's a good deal. We need to keep him in Green Bay. Now, Justin Fields, on the other hand, his future in Chicago is completely up in the air. They have the number one overall pick. If they were smart, they would keep him. As a Packer fan, I hope they don't keep him. I really hope that they don't keep him. But if Chicago was smart, they would keep him. And just like I said on Wednesday, with the number one pick, they should draft Marvin Harrison Jr. because he's not going to be there at their next pick. I don't even know what their next pick is, but he will not be there. I'm sure there'll be a quarterback there. Now, if they did get rid of Justin Fields and got some draft capital, which they won't get high enough draft capital to get Marvin Harrison Jr., I would draft that Penix Jr. from Washington. He's a phenomenal quarterback. I mean, look what he did last weekend. Or, not last weekend, this past week on New Year's Day. He's got what it takes. I think he's got what it takes more than Justin Fields, in all honesty. But it's college. I mean, you saw Justin Fields do amazing at Ohio State. And then he got to the NFL, and he just hasn't put it together the way that it did at Ohio State. Now, C.J. Stroud, on the other hand, nobody thought he was going to do what he was going to do either. Did I just repeat myself? I don't know. I might have just repeated myself. But C.J. Stroud is a much better quarterback than Justin Fields. He always will be. I mean, at one point he was in contention for Rookie of the Year and MVP. Hey, cheers, Beer Wisconsin. Drink a lot of beer for me tomorrow. You have a good night too. Go Pack, go. But by the end of C.J. Stroud's career, which I get it, he plays for Houston. They're not the greatest team, but you look at Justin Fields and you look at C.J. Stroud at the end of their careers. C.J. Stroud is going to be the better quarterback, hands down. And again, that plays a whole part. You know, Chicago can compare the two all they want, but they need a franchise quarterback. Chicago has wasted so many quarterbacks in my life. So many. It's ridiculous. They don't know what to do. They are the most dysfunctional organization in the league. So, again, I know I'm talking about the Bears, but I hate to say it, but they should keep Justin Fields and draft Marvin Harrison Jr. So, let's get back to Green Bay. You know, everybody's seen the laundry list of people on the IR this season. It reminds me a lot of 2010 when we won the Super Bowl. And it's mind-boggling, the comparisons. All the injuries, but we still came back out on top. Somehow, some way, we beat the Bears in the NFC Championship game, which I had a friend on Facebook comment today that said, you know, beating the Bears in the NFC Championship game was even better than winning the Super Bowl. I'm not going to say that that's the case in my mind, but it was pretty awesome, especially that pick six by B.J. Raji. So looking at right now on FoxSports.com, Packers are favored by 3 points. I know, only 3 points. The Bears have played okay. They've won 5 of their last 7. Again, just this whole situation is like Detroit last year. I can't remember what I said my predictions were for the game from the episode on Wednesday, but I think Jordan Love is going to throw for at least 250 yards and 3 touchdowns, which will bring his total to 37 total touchdowns on the year. He's already got more, touchdowns and touchdowns and passing yards in his first starting season as a quarterback in the NFL than any Bears quarterback has ever had in a single season in the entire organization's career. God, I can't talk tonight. In any of the franchise's history, any season, anytime, anywhere. They've never had as many touchdown passes or passing yards. Love has only thrown 11 interceptions this year. He's 17 touchdowns to 1 interception. So, do with that what you may. The total points is 44. I think it's going to be higher than that. I would definitely take the over. Like I said, Green Bay is favored by 3 points. Fox Sports prediction is Green Bay 25, Chicago 20. You know, I think Green Bay is going to win by more than that. Green Bay. I say Green Bay 31, Chicago 20. Because I get it. We held Minnesota to 10 points on Sunday. We're going to be dealing with a whole different ball game tomorrow afternoon. We're going to be playing against Justin Fields, and it's a make it or break it game. Like I said earlier, I can almost guarantee you that Fields is going to have at least 75 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown, and probably 2 passing touchdowns, and he'll probably pass for 200 yards. It's not very hard to predict. Green Bay has one of the softest zone defenses in the NFL. Yeah, I don't think, like I said, we will not have a problem winning this game. So, if anybody's out there watching, comment. Again, shout out to Dan for making me this hat. It's awesome. I freaking love it. This thing is sweet. I wish I was going to the game tomorrow so I could wear this hat at Lambeau. And I bleed green and gold. Scott Rudin's Packer Bar or Packer Party, as it says on the back. That's where I usually watch Packer games, but I think I'll be watching it at home tomorrow. Been working a lot, so probably should, be nice to watch the game at home for once in a long time. But yeah, Green Bay needs to that starting with the kickoff. 9 times out of 10, Green Bay gets the coin toss. They win the coin toss. They're gonna differ. I would much rather get the ball to start the second half than to start the game, because you've seen it all season long. You saw it last season. This defense, this whole team rather, doesn't always seem to wake up in the first half, and if they can get the ball to start the second half, they will be much better off. Their odds at winning the game will be much higher. Which again, they punted on the first drive in Minnesota, but then you blink and they're up 10-0. So it's a divisional game. You can't really predict anything. anything. Let's see. And I'm pretty sure Jones is active for the game. I can't remember exactly I haven't really looked on social media that much this week. Um, at Packers news, but if Jones is healthy, give him the ball as much as possible. I know Dylan is not active, but Wilson has been activated with Musgrave. So Wilson showed a lot of promise in the preseason. He hasn't had a lot of opportunity to show us what he's got in the regular season because he's been hurt. Thanks, Tim. I'll try not to blink. I'll just stare at the TV the whole time. But Tim, you'll have to come on sometime too. um, you know, it's always ideal to score first. Everybody says that, and it is. It's 100% ideal to score first because you don't want to be down 7-0 to start the game because of how hard it has been for this team to come back. They came back from the New Orleans game, but Love hasn't had that many opportunities to have comebacks. And score early and score often. It's easier said than done, but they need to score early and score often. Score on the first possession. Get a touchdown. Get a field goal for all I care. You need to score points. And the defense needs to show up, just like they did last week. And that does not save Joe Barry from getting fired. I still think that can't talk. Joe Barry needs to be fired after this season. There's plenty of candidates out there that are a lot better than Joe Barry. But God. You're at home. You're going to have the crowd on your side. They're going to be loud. They're going to be insanely loud because they know what's at stake. You need to play that to your advantage. The defense needs to contain Justin Fields, which is easier said than done. But I'm not comparing him to Michael Vick, but he's Michael Vick-esque. He's a very mobile quarterback. He likes to panic when the pocket is collapsing, kind of like Love was at the beginning of the season, but he's a lot more. Love is more poised in the pocket than Justin Fields. So, and Chicago has nothing to lose. Yeah, we fired McCarthy mainly because him and Rodgers were not getting along. I think Rodgers had a little bit more pull than McCarthy. McCarthy wasn't that great of a coach towards the end there in Green Bay, which it's not his defense. It's Dan Quinn's defense in Dallas, but that defense carries him in Dallas. It's not so much his game plan; it's his defense. You always need a good defense. Green Bay, my whole life, I can remember. I can't even count on one hand how many years we've had a solid defense. It's usually riddled with injuries, but the young guys seem to always step up. So Valentine have stepped up. I'll give them that. With Jair out, Jair will be playing tomorrow. He said that he wants to stay in Green Bay, which I don't know why. I don't believe his contract is up. But you're getting paid millions of dollars. You should focus on football. Don't, just answer questions from the media and do your job. Just like everybody else on the team needs to do their job. And you'll win the game. It's if they play as a complete cohesive unit that they did on Sunday, they will blow Chicago out of the water. Um, get Kraft involved early and often. I mean, he's been pretty much unstoppable since he's been playing over Musgrave being hurt. I don't see Musgrave playing a whole lot tomorrow. I see him playing maybe a quarter's worth. You know, with the lacerated kidneys, I don't even know how to recover from that. I don't want to know, but get Kraft involved early and often, get Jones involved early and often. Most of the time, it's, you know, pass to set up the run. You need to run to set up the pass. And Chicago will not be able to stop you. They it always seems like with Joe Barry, one thing works for the first half, the second half he kind of backs off. He plays prevent. So that's the whole thing that surprised me on Sunday was how he reacted going into halftime with that big lead. It'll be interesting to see what he does in the first half compared to the second half tomorrow. Um, but like I'm not a professional. I can't. I'm not a football coach. I'm just a diehard Packer fan who loves the Packers so much that I wanted to create this podcast to surround the Green Bay Packers, talk about them all the time, all year round. I would really love to see them just run all over them tomorrow. So, um, but thanks, Beard Wisconsin and Tim, for commenting. Um, means a lot. You guys are out there watching, listening. You know, I might do a live after the game tomorrow. I'm not gonna do a live during the game. I'm gonna enjoy the game and watch the game. But I might, if you're looking for a live stream to kind of watch the game with, go over to Matt Ramage and watch his live. I've watched him a couple times during the game, but what I'm watching doesn't always sync up with what he's watching. He's usually ahead of me, especially if I'm at home. But because I don't have Dish Network or anything or DirecTV, I just, I'll be watching the game on Paramount Plus. So I'll probably be a little behind. But yeah, I hope we stomp all over them. I keep repeating myself, but I hope we stomp all over them. Discount double check. That doesn't really apply anymore there, Timmy. He doesn't play for us anymore. He plays for New York. Well, doesn't play this year, but I don't know. I've been trying to do this show on my own a little bit. I've only done it a couple times. Life's been really busy lately. I don't know how much I'm going to do it during the off season. I'll probably do one around the draft. Do a draft special. Hopefully, get Beard Wisconsin on with me. But we plan on doing a show every Wednesday Ron's Guitar Lounge every Wednesday throughout the whole off season. And if you guys have any suggestions for Wednesday night show or this show, message the podcast, comment on anything that I post. If you know me personally, message me on my personal Facebook. But yeah, I'm completely open to suggestions. Anything that you guys want to talk about. This is just kind of a time to interact with fans of the page and talk about football and drink some beer. So I appreciate you guys watching. Those of you that have been watching, I really appreciate all the support that I've had for this page since the beginning. It's been slowly growing. Trying to get the YouTube page up and running. Been having a lot of problems uploading videos, but episodes are on Spotify. It should be every episode. So, if you if you really want to support me, go to campahcollective.com and buy some merch. Support the podcast. There's Ron's Guitar Lounge merch on there. There is obviously Wisconsinite podcast merch. Buy a hat, buy a hoodie, buy a T-shirt. It would mean a lot to me. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got right now. Again, I appreciate all the support. I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching every week. And as always, thank you to Beardsconsin. Thank you to Raising the Bar. Thank you to the Midway. I don't know if Chase probably won't be watching. He's out in Vegas. I don't know if Raising the Bar is watching. Beardsconsin was in there for a little while. But thank you guys for sponsoring the podcast, for believing in me, for what I do, for what I love to do. I love to talk Packers as much as humanly possible. Everybody that I know knows how much I love the Green Bay Packers. So, yeah. Go Pack, go.